talk about the role that your age plays with the type of men that you date.
And I'm Coach B. This is my wife, Natasha.
Hello.
I'm a lifelong bachelor of 45 years. And she's a former single mom of four, raising four kids on her own. And we know a lot of you ladies are single moms and looking to date and take the next step in your relationships. So we're going to give you perspective from our own perspective, from a bachelor's perspective, lifelong, and a former single mom. So we got a lot of stuff for you today.
Yes, this is such a hot topic that has just been blowing up with our community. And we have helped so many women. This is not just our opinion or what we think you should do. This is us living this. You know, I was formerly married. I was married with the same person for 15 years, became a single mom with four kids. And, you know, I was back on the dating scene. And, you know, my husband, now husband, was a bachelor for so long, right? So this is really going to help you because a lot of people have different opinions on should you date older men, should you date younger men. I like younger men, I like older men. So it doesn't matter what your situation is. We're going to show you on this live stream exactly what you need to do, ladies, so you can attract that provider energy men. And it doesn't matter where you live, also globally. Yes, welcome. Hey, Christy, what's up?
Hey, Christy, and really going deeper into attracting the right type of guy. Because a lot of times, and we're talking about for marriage.
Yes,
a lot of times we can hear people talk about, okay, I attract this type of guy.
So true.
You know, so many guys are in love with me, but who's looking to marry you? Who's asking you to take that next step? Because honestly speaking, guys are attracted to anything that walks. Any woman that walks, guys are attracted to. But who's taking it that next step, committing themselves to you, who's being open with you, who wants to take it and get married to you and not just have you in their rotation?
Oh, that's so good, babe. Yeah, that's exactly it. And also, you girls can drop your comments. We will get to your comments and your questions as well. This is why we love doing our live streams on Friday. But if you do want more help with from us, we can help you girls. We've had engagements every single month since January for our girls from all over the world. So you can always jump into our community, into our programs as well. But let's get started.
Let's do it.
Okay, I love this. This is exciting stuff. You know, and it's so interesting. I'm going to save the best for last, which is, I know there's a ton of women, because we saw you in the comments, they're like, I love younger men. I'm dating a younger man. And you know, I don't like older men. I'm going to talk to you at the end. If you're in a relationship with a man that is younger than you, I'm going to show you how to still be successful in that relationship, because that's really the point of what we do. Is we want to see you win. We're not saying that we're right and you have to do it our way, but we really want to help, especially the single moms, get into really healthy relationships with men and marriage, really for marriage, with men that want to fully provide and protect and to show up for you. So we will help you. If you're in that scenario, we'll help towards the end. But first, I want to talk to my ladies that are fresh on the dating scene. So similar to my situation, maybe you just got out of a divorce or a breakup, or you went through a loss like what I went through, or maybe you just have never been married before. And you're at the point in your life, you're probably over 30, maybe over 40, 50, and you don't want to waste your time. Okay, you're a busy girl. You got things to do. You don't even want to be on the dating apps, right? Like I didn't want to be on the dating apps. Right. Let's just be real, okay? But so you need a strategy to cut through all the noise, right? Because we talk about this where we do encourage you to date internationally. And because dating has been globalized, you have so many options when it comes to men that do want to marry you. So as a woman, and you know, you want to really have strategy to cut through all the fluff and the noise, so you can increase your chances of attracting a provider type man that wants to marry you, that wants to spoil you, that wants to give you princess treatment every day, take care of you and your kids. And so some of these tips are going to really, really help you. Do you want to say anything before I get started?
And even adding to it, there are so many men that actually want to marry you.
Yes.
A lot of things that are said online and people talk about is based on a lot of times traumatic experiences
Yes.
in relationships. And until you're able to heal that, until you're able to identify that it's not necessarily that there aren't good men out here.
Right.
What it is maybe it could be how you approached it.
Right.
Maybe it could be just you weren't open to doing things in a different way, because a lot of times people aren't in relationships.
Yes.
And they'll break up from those relationships and pull out the good.
Yes.
And focus on that. Like, this was a great relationship outside of one thing. But that one thing is what held you back from getting married to that person, from taking it to the next step. So we don't want to compare old relationships that didn't work, that you're no longer in. I don't care how great a person he is. I don't care what the situation was. It was just a lot going on. It was COVID, whatever we want to say, none of that matters. What we look at is, are you married now to that person? Are you still in a relationship? And if you're not, you have to make changes, because that didn't work.
Oh, so good, babe. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Right. I was talking to one of the girls in our programs today, and she's like, but I really like this type. Like, babe, that type is based on your old identity and your old trauma.
Yeah.
Right? So if that type hasn't worked, maybe it's time to lovingly, not judge yourself, but switch up your type.
Yeah.
Right?
And we know we're not saying go out there and get someone who you're not attracted to. Like, okay, I don't like anything about how you look. Looks isn't what you lead with, but
Right.
it still has to be like something where, okay, he takes care of himself. He's clean. He's he might not be model. Like, we don't, especially for women.
Yeah.
We say don't lead with that. He doesn't need to be the most attractive guy, but he has those qualities, those provider qualities, and he's presentable.
Yes.
He's not ugly. He's not walking around here like, just like hurting the world with his looks. But changing what you're looking for and how you approach it, that makes him more attractive, right? Men become more attractive to women when you see the value that they bring.
Yes.
So it's not just, okay, he just knocks you out with his looks. No, he looks okay. Once he starts providing for you, now he's the most attractive person in the world. And you have to consider going that route if you've always looked for guys that are just like drop dead, gorgeous model in your view.
Yeah,
right?
The handsome guys. Yeah, exactly. So, we were looking at, because I know some people are like, what's the research say? Well, we know, right, just based on actual biology, women mature faster than men, right? This is how we've evolved as a human race. So you can't argue that. And that continues as you get older as well. Now, a lot of us ladies take really good care of ourselves. And, all shout out to my 80s babies, my 70s babies. We look good for our age. And what tends to happen is we attract younger men when you're, fresh on the dating scene. Now, that might be an ego boost for you at the beginning. But babe, things have not changed when it comes to the psychology of the masculine and the feminine. Deep down, a woman genuinely wants, a woman that's in her feminine, she craves, she's been wired. Her nervous system has been wired to be with a man that provides safety, security, and provision. Right, ladies? Let me know in the comments, right? At the end of the day, you want a man that is consistent, that is stable, and that can provide for you. Right? And just like for men, how they have been biologically wired, get mad and triggered all you want, but they have been wired to be visual so that they can reproduce, right? This is why men can reproduce until they're 100 years old. That's how they've been wired. So like what we often talk about with, in some of our other content and how we teach our girls is you don't have to look like a 20-year-old Barbie doll. You just have to look really good for your age. And when you date up, as a woman, when you change your dating filters to only date men that are what I recommend 4 to 10 years older than you, then you're going to increase your chances, just statistically, okay? You're going to increase your chances of attracting a man that is more mature, that is in his provider role, that will be physically attracted to you because you're young to him. Even if you're 55 years old, you're going to be young to him. Right? Or in my case, I was in my late 30s when I started dating my husband. He's 6, almost 7 years older than me. I'm young to him. Right? So you're going to increase your chances when you start dating men that are older than you, even if you're not used to it, babe.
So true.
Right? Trust the process. Even if you're not used to it, you're going to just increase your chances of being in a healthier relationship with a man that wants to provide, protect, and marry you.
And the psychology behind it
Yeah.
is so important because
Yes.
as men, and a lot of men nowadays, and just over the last 50 to 70 years, a lot of men have been raised by women.
So good.
Single parents. So it's a different level of respect. Even though they may find you attractive, when men are dating older women, it's a different level of respect. And also they go into you being their provider, you being their protector, because that's what a lot of single moms have had to do.
Yep.
So they may be attracted to you, but as far as moving forward and stepping into that provider role, you a lot of times attract guys that are in that specific area in their feminine. Like they may have a great job, they may do a lot of things, and this is generally speaking. It's not every guy,
Right?
Because we know guys that are younger that are dating older and are in their provider. But generally speaking, men take a step back out of respect when they're talking to women older than them. So they want to open the door for older women. It's a level of respect. I don't care what you're involved in your life. You can be a street guy or you can be a CEO. When you have someone older, it's a level of respect that you want to make sure that you approach them with.
Yeah.
Right? Not that they don't respect younger women, but it's more a mothering respect. And it's different where they don't step up as those providers in those situations because you're mature, you approach things differently, and men mature slower than women. So if I'm 45 and I'm with someone, in this case, who's 6-7 years younger than me, then we're closer to the same level as far as maturity wise.
Yeah.
But my sisters that are 5-6 years older than me, they're more mother type of mother auntie in my eyes.
Yeah.
Like they give that advice, they help out.
Yeah.
But I'm not in a relationship with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how we view it, and that's just the psychology behind it. It's not anything personal.
Yeah.
It's not that you don't look good. It's not that they're not attracted to you, because remember, men are attracted to most anything that walks or has maybe
A pulse.
is shapely, things like that. Men could be attracted to it, but actually being in a healthy relationship, it goes so much better when the woman is younger. And I've never seen myself or never even desired to be with an older woman than me, and to move forward in marriage. It was just thrown away. I couldn't even think about it. Or even a woman that's a year or two younger. It just, the dynamics of it didn't feel right. And most guys, 7 to 10 years, you may know guys that do a couple years more if you're older, but most guys want that 7 to 10 year gap. Just because the dynamics are different when you're dealing with a younger woman, because you're closer to maturity level with each other.
Exactly. And you have to understand the psychology of the masculine. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in a second. But I also just want to point out that both of his sisters, who are older, are married to provider energy men, amazing men, and they are strong women. They're beautiful women, but they understand the psychology, right? They understand this, so they did everything that we teach on this channel, and they're still in very healthy marriages. So this is not just us, but this is a lot of women that we have also worked with or that we know personally. Okay, the fruit doesn't lie. At the end of the day, you can argue with us all you want in the comments, which is fine, but it's like, look at the fruit of your life, right? And so we're trying to help our girls win here and get those guys
Because the guys are waiting.
Yes.
The guys are there, they're waiting, they're prepared. But a lot of times it's like, okay, I'm only going to date, younger guys are attracted to me. Yeah. That's what a lot of women are saying.
Yeah.
Younger guys are attracted to me,
Yeah.
but unless they're willing to take it to the next level and marry you, they're just looking at you as, an opportunity.
Exactly. So, man, there's so many places I want to go with this, and then we'll answer your girls' questions. I'm just curious. I haven't asked you this before.
Okay.
Do you think men, it's kind of a fun, sexual excitement to be with an older woman too, like for a younger guy?
Oh, definitely. It's like conquering something. Like, think about, and this, I'm not saying it's right, but you'll see situations where men will potentially okay, this person used to be a teacher when I was in high school or college, and I see them out now. I got their number, or I'm hanging out with them, or things like that. It's kind of like a challenge
Yeah.
that they're looking to conquer, because it's so looked at in a sense of you can't get that.
Right.
So it's not necessarily like I'm just so in love, but it's an opportunity to meet a challenge or a fantasy that they
Right.
probably had when they were younger
Yes.
and didn't see through.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, they're older. I saw her out. Guess who I saw? Guess who I'm talking to? I got her number. We hanging out. We doing whatever, and have no intentions on being with them.
Okay.
So
I thought so.
I've seen that happen.
And likewise for women that are new in the dating scene, right? And I'm not saying this is for every woman, but for a lot of women, especially if your confidence has been hurt as a
Yeah.
woman, now you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s,
Yes.
and you're starting to attract younger men. You're like, okay, I still got it. I'm getting all these younger men want to date me. They want to spoil me. They want to, they're all attracted to
Yes.
me. And you know what? Yeah, that could be an ego boost, but are these men, well, the fact that there's men and not a man
Yeah.
shows a lot in itself.
Yeah.
But we're talking about which man has actually stepped up, put a ring on your finger, and is paying all your bills,
Yeah.
right? And is consistent and not making you be forced into your masculine mothering energy and have to take care of him,
Yeah.
right?
And not to say that, again, I want to stress, not to say that you won't find situations where
Yeah.
that works.
Yeah.
But when it does happen and multiple men are approaching you, your antenna should go up, at
Yeah.
least to the
Yeah.
point where, okay, what adjustments do I need to make? Why are younger men and not older men approaching me?
Yeah.
Or why is my son's friend who I saw looking at me like that? Because young guys like that, that's a fantasy. They see, oh, that's their mother. Let me just say something. I remember when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now I'm old enough, and
Yeah.
we see movies, we see
Yes.
things like this. It's not just a movie. This is reality.
Yeah.
Where it's like, let me fulfill this fantasy. And we don't want you ladies to be someone's fulfillment of a fantasy. We want you ladies to be, in a sense of just taking advantage of you.
Right.
We want you ladies to be someone's fantasies that they're willing to marry, provide for, and protect.
Yeah, that's so good. And then remember, a lot of this is subconscious. I don't genuinely believe people are just purposely trying to go out and be vicious towards each other and, take advantage of each other. I don't believe that. What happens is we date based on what our nervous system is used to. This is really important, ladies. Like, lean in here for a second, okay? We date and we develop relationships based on what our nervous system is used to. This is why your childhood relationships play a dominant role in who you choose to date and marry. For example, a lot of ladies in my community, like me, had the daddy issues, right? Dad's not there, dad's there, and then he's not there, right? Or you just saw a lot of dysfunction growing up.
Yeah.
And that was normal for you. So then you start being attracted to people that are like your dad, right? Or the absence of a masculine man. He's hot and cold growing up, and then now you're attracting men that are hot and cold. That's normal for you. Now, like what we were talking about before, Coach B was saying, a lot of men have been raised by either single moms or moms that are in their masculine energy, right? And so that got programmed into the man's nervous system that these strong women that take care of everything, that do all this stuff, those are the women that he becomes attracted to. Now you come along as a single mom. This is pure psychology and energy, okay? Just observe for a second before you start jumping into the comments. Okay, so now you come along and you're in your mothering energy. You're a single mom. And now I had a lot of people that were like, how can a mom be in her masculine? That doesn't even make sense. How is mothering energy masculine energy? I call it the mama bear energy. Think of a mama bear. A mama bear is the provider and the protector. So that's what I'm talking about. So if you, as a single mom, and I was there too, this is why I know this so well. When all of a sudden you are a single mom, dad is not there, the husband is not there, you are forced as a woman, biologically, subconsciously, into your masculine energy. You are now the provider and protector of your household. That's just how it is. Now, and there's no shame in that, babe. It's just, you have to do this. This is what we've had to do to survive, to care for our offspring. So anyway, so you're going along and you're living life, you're taking care of your kids, you're providing, you're working, you have to function in your masculine energy. Now, most women are unconscious to this. the women that we work with, we help you become aware of this so you can practice being in your feminine, so you can attract, the masculine man, like what I had to do to attract my masculine husband. But most women are unconscious to this. So they're just going through their day. They could be working out. A lot of these girls work out at the gym. They look good, but they're functioning their masculine energy, taking care of business. And then now you can see how you're going to attract the man that's also attracted to that type of woman. Now, a lot of time these men are younger because they're looking up to the woman, right? And so that feels familiar to them. So you could be looking cute like a hot tamale, but you're attracting all these younger guys that are attracted to these types of women, and you, without realizing it, because you're so in your mama bear energy, I'm going to call it mama bear energy so you understand it better, you naturally are attracted to him. And because you are so used to doing everything for people, which is how I was too, you're used to taking care of people, then if you don't realize it, you will start to take care of that man. So even for me, this is something I had to consciously stop myself from doing and heal inside of me, so my nervous system could lean back and feel safe having a man come into the picture and help take over things, help lead, help provide, help, be our covering, right? So that's the energy dynamics that often plays out when women are not aware of it.
And that mama bear energy is real.
Yeah.
Just thinking about growing up, and even in our household, our mom had to step up and do things that most women, especially women that are in their feminine, that you don't want them doing.
Yeah.
She had to help pay the bills, in the sense of my father would give her all the money.
Yeah.
Then she would pay the bills. So he was still taking care of things as far as financially, but because he was busy doing a lot of other stuff, he wasn't able to be that one that took care of things to allow her to relax. And most masculine energy men, even though we appreciate and respect the mama bear, I respect what my mom did.
Yes.
We're not attracted to that.
No, not sexually attracted.
No, we're not sexually attracted to the mama bear energy. It's a level of respect, like man to man respect. Like,
yes.
I respect his grind. I respect what he's doing.
Yeah.
But once it goes past that point, it's not attractive to us, because we feel like we're talking to another man in that area. And you can be pretty, you can have your hair flowing, you can have whatever you can have the best clothes, outfits on, showing everything, but that attraction isn't there because we sense the provider energy, and we don't see space for ourselves.
So good.
We don't see space for us to come in and play a role of providing or protecting, because that role is already taken care of. So naturally, you're going to attract someone who may be in their feminine, because whenever you're in a relationship, it's two dynamics, the masculine and the feminine.
Yep.
And somebody's going to play each role. So if you're already playing the masculine role, then you're automatically going to attract the feminine role, because two masculine can't connect in that on the sexual level, on a romantic level. So you'll get the guys that are nice guys, don't necessarily have that, like, you want to fix them. You want to help them become masculine. It's like, no, I'm going to fill out a job application for him. I'm going to make sure that he has what he needs. Then he'll get rolling. It doesn't happen. If he's not coming in already in that role, you can't get him there, and you're functioning in your masculine.
Yeah, and that's so good, babe, because there are men that will take that. They'll be like, yeah, she's helping me. She's doing all this stuff. And we're not saying don't help your guy. That's not what we're saying at all. No. But going back to the male psychology, ladies, this is so important. This is part of your feminine intelligence, is to understand the male psychology. The number one need for the masculine is respect. He craves that more than anything, is to feel respected. So you as a woman, when you're coming in, and even if you are younger than him, if you start talking down to him, if you start going into your mama bear energy and you're just going to do everything for him, he subconsciously doesn't feel respected anymore as a man. And he naturally, subconsciously will lean back even more. And often, because a lot of women haven't done their inner healing, they get triggered by this. And they're like, why isn't he stepping up? Why isn't he doing this? Blah, 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 blah. And then you come at him even harder, and your energy. I just got to tell him, he's not being a man. He's not doing this. He's acting like a child. All the things you never, relationship suicide. That is relationship suicide right there. You never talk down to a man. Ever, ladies, ever, ever, ever. I cannot reiterate that enough, because you have just stripped that respect factor away from him. And even if he isn't doing something right, you will never get what you want as a woman by disrespecting your man. And so what naturally happens, because like we're talking about, a lot of people are not conscious to this. They're used to being the boss babes, right? Like me. Boss babes, you have employees or you lead people in management. You're a single mom. You're used to telling people what to do. And then he comes along and then you're still doing that to him. Now, it's hard to do that to a man that's older than you. This is why I really encourage women, when they're fresh on the dating scene, to date men that are older than you, because it's really hard as a woman, naturally, subconsciously. You're not going to talk down to a man that's 7 years older than you, right? You might be there to help him and talk and soundboard with him, but at the end of the day, he's going to still feel like he's in that man role. Now, a younger guy comes into the picture, and you guys both are very unconscious, haven't done your inner healing, you naturally by default are going to start talking down to him without realizing it. And then things might be hot and heavy at the beginning. You guys are in a situationship and you're having great sex and whatever. But naturally what will happen is you're going to start to lose respect for him. And he's going to start to lose respect for, or not feel respected. And he's going to lean back even more.
Because what he's going to do is he's going to respect his elders.
Yeah.
Because you're his elder, so he's going to respect his elders. And the main thing that helps to understand is, in every relationship is roles. So a lot of times, even though you can say you're in your feminine, men can say they're in their masculine, it's understanding what that looks like. Understanding what being in your masculine as a man looks like. Understanding what being in your feminine as a woman looks like. Because sometimes it could be, we can say that, I dress this way. Women can say they put makeup on, they wear this type of dress, so they're in their feminine.
Right.
But understanding that being in your feminine is being in your receiving, in your relaxed state, in your being able to accept when he's there to protect you or lead you in certain areas of your life. Now, he's not ruling over you, but in certain areas that he has more of a say-so in, just like in certain areas that you have more of a say-so in, because men will, even masculine energy men, they understand the dynamics in relationships, even with mother and child.
Yeah.
So they're not going to overrule in certain areas, but you also have to give them that space to be the man, to be the masculine, to be the one that may discipline, the one that's there to protect, the one that's there to say the hard, tough things that you in your feminine may not say in the relationship or to your kids, because most women want to make sure their kids feel good. And that's the feminine, because it's all about feelings. It's all about just feeling comfortable, feeling good, and that's needed. But most men in their masculine, even though they want the kids to feel good, it's more about getting the message. So sometimes they may not say it in the same way. So both dynamics are working together, where he's coming in as the masculine and you're in your feminine. And that's helping to raise a healthy child and helping to have a healthy relationship as well with each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good, babe. Okay, we're going to check in and answer some of your girls' questions and then stay, because I'm going to talk to you about how you really help your relationship if you are dating a younger man right now or you're married to a younger man. Okay, so let's just check in here. Hello, welcome. Hey, Kadisha, Tanisha. All right. Do you girls have any specific questions that you want us to answer before we get into our next point? And is this making sense to you guys? The whole masculine, feminine role and age gap dynamics of this. Is this changing the way you think, especially if you're on the dating apps, if you are dating, right? And what you have been attracting up to this point. So, like we were talking about before, we both know people that, the girl is younger the girl is older than the guy, but the man is very much in his masculine energy provider role. So that can work. If you're in that situation, the most important thing as a woman that you got to do is really lean into your feminine receiving mode. And what that means, even if he is younger than you, energetically, you can make yourself younger than him. And you do that by leaning back. You do that by allowing him to do more, allowing him to fix things, allowing him to provide more, allowing him to make more decisions without you jumping in and making the decision for him. Now, for a lot of women that are not used to that, it does require inner healing, because when your nervous system doesn't feel safe around the masculine, right? You're the one that makes all the decisions. At the end of the day, you're the one that provides, you're the one that protects. You don't feel safe to trust the masculine to make decisions. It's going to require you to do some inner work, babe, and heal that masculine energy wound, which is what we help our girls do. It's a big part of what we help our women do in our program in the Feminine Energy Academy, because subconsciously, otherwise, you will always just lean into that masculine energy to feel safe and protected. And you will actually be turned off by masculine energy man. And you want the man that's more in his feminine, that you can basically dominate. You can control. And it's so subconscious. So to summarize, if you are dating or married to a man that's younger than you, the best thing you can do, babe, is actually let go. Have fun. Let go of control. Let go of micromanaging. Do your inner healing so you feel safe to just lean back in your feminine and let him make more decisions and provide for you.
Yeah, that's as in the simplicity, putting it simply, just allowing him to make decisions and feel like the man. And sometimes it may be something initially, especially if you're older, more mature, it may be more challenging for you initially. But understanding that the more you do it, the more comfortable he feels, and the more he's able to be who he is if you want a successful relationship. Because most healthy masculine energy men won't stick around long enough for you to make those adjustments. If you're not doing that initially, if that's not who you've healed and become, all the different traumas that you may have dealt with and have become, most likely you won't get the opportunity to build a relationship and hope it changes over time, because those healthy masculine energy men will either ghost you, won't be around. It's like, okay, we had a great date, things were great, why didn't he respond? It could be the energy that he's sensing, and we're not going to fight to become your provider or protector if you're not already allowing us that space at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's so good, babe. And that's a really good point, because like what you always say and what we talk about, high value men have options, right? Just like high value women have options. So a healthy man is not going to argue with you. He's just going to disappear. He's just going to move on to the next thing. Just like a healthy woman, she's not going to waste her time. She's just going to disappear, right? And move on to the next thing as well. Right? That's
why it's so important to already be healed when we talk about moving forward in those relationships, or if you're in that situation now. Just to make those changes, because with healthy feminine and masculine, it won't last.
Yeah, exactly. That's so good. And you're never going to fully be healed. We get wounded in relationships growing up and past relationships, but we also heal in relationships. So there's this, just to give you hope, okay? So there's a degree of inner healing you need to do on your own as a woman and as a man. Even Coach B, he was in an engagement before, 5-year relationship before that ended. So he had to do a bunch of inner healing therapy and all that stuff himself. I went through all the trauma and loss that I went through. And so by the time we met together, we had both done so much inner healing. But, a lot of that healing happens also in marriage, right? Like, we're still learning and growing. And, I've had to do a lot of inner work being a former single mom and wanting to jump in and, override things and do things, and like learning how to just lean back and give him space to be the head of the home. So you're always growing, you're always evolving, but we want to give you a head start because and I promise you this, babe, I promise you, if you don't like what you're attracting right now, the type of men you're attracting right now, as you heal, you will attract better. As you become a high value woman, you do everything, like make sure you're subscribed here or you're in our programs. You follow everything that we teach you guys, we teach you girls to do. You will start to attract high value men, multiple men that do want to date and marry you. And that's just what happens with our girls. So,
And even just diving a little deeper into
yeah.
our situation, even
Yes.
before getting with you and meeting you and courting and going
Yeah.
through the whole process,
Yeah.
the healing that needed to be done, looking back, having a 5-year relationship, that's not even something that I agree with now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I talk now and say most men know within 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
That, okay,
Yeah.
maybe within 90 days to 3 months or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all the same, but most men know quickly if they want to be with that person. And the healing comes in where it's saying, okay, I know this is the case, that time frame has gone by. Now I have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Now I have to be fair to myself. I have to be fair to this person, because that's exactly what happened with us. We talked for a little, then it wasn't going anywhere. Like, I wasn't making moves to come see you. We were talking internationally.
Yeah.
You decided that you didn't want to talk anymore because of that.
Yeah.
And then we disconnected for about 6 months or something
Yeah.
like that. So when I reached back out to you, the healing came in where I knew that I had to move and make a decision, because it wasn't because you weren't the right person, because we see that you are, but it's because the healing that I needed to do
Right.
on taking the next step. I had been a lifelong bachelor, so taking that next step of engagement and marriage is something that I didn't do in a short period of time before, even though I knew that, okay, this situation isn't going anywhere. So making that decision, asking you to marry me, and not only asking you, but doing it all within 11 months of us dating.
Yeah.
Right. So that was where I had to make that adjustment. And there's some men out there as well who may have gone through some challenging relationships and come into it in a way that they're not ready. And you have to be willing as the woman to step away from that, allow them to heal. And if they come back, they come back. If they don't, then you move on with your life.
That's so good. We're keeping it all the way real with you girls. This is why we show up here and we show you guys our story and what to do differently, you know, to hopefully save you heartache, to save you time and energy, and to attract the right partner. And just keeping it all the way real with you girls as well. We didn't do things properly at the beginning too. You know, when we first met, we hooked up right away, right? Everything felt so
Exactly. It felt so good.
Everything felt too normal for us. And because we were each other's persons, and I think we felt that right away, but we didn't do the strategy part of it, which is what I teach the girls now. And that's why when we came back together, I had also done a bunch of inner healing. I surrendered to God, and I was like, okay, God, I'm ready to receive my husband. And we weren't talking anymore, right? Like things fell apart after that. And you know, that's a perfect example of you can meet your perfect person for you, but you don't do things God's way, you do things your own way. And you know, next thing you know, you're going to be in another situationship. So when I was like to God, okay, I surrender everything to you. I'm going to do things your way, because your way is way better than my great ideas. And you know, I had done a bunch of inner healing. Next thing I know, I was about to start dating again. I had taken a break from dating, and I was about to go back on the dating apps again, and because I had done so much healing, I was ready to get married. And then Brian called me out of nowhere. I had deleted his contacts. I was like, I don't know what happened here. He was amazing, but it just didn't work out. I deleted his contacts. I fully detached, and I moved on from a place of healthy wholeness, total surrender to God. Literally that day, he reaches out to me, calls me, and he had done a bunch of inner healing and working on his stuff. And he's like, okay, I'm ready to do this the right way. And next thing you know, he's flying up to Canada, and you know, we're dating for marriage now, seriously dating for marriage. We're engaged in 8 months, married 3 months later. Now we're living our best freaking life, helping you girls.
You broke it down. That's exactly what it was. And so many people don't start the relationships the right way. You can be older, younger, age, whatever. Doesn't matter as much, but because you don't start it the right way, you're thinking like, okay, I've sabotaged myself.
Right.
But doing the work, you always say this.
Yeah.
They always come back.
They always
when
come
you do
back.
the work, you forget about them. They're calling you, they're texting you, they're trying to meet up. They want to send you stuff. They just were thinking about you. This happens when you do the inner work. No matter how things started off, it could have started off how it started with us, great, hooking up, or it could have started off where, you know, you were just taking your time with it. When you do the work, and that's what the women over 1,000 women
Yeah.
that have been in our academy
Yeah.
have done the work, and you'll see the results so quick. Things that have taken years, like you may have had challenges for years with the same situation, with the same cycle.
Yeah.
In days, women are coming in and they're seeing the changes. So
Yeah.
we're talking about the age gap, but we're really talking about the inner work
Yeah.
that needs to be done to prepare yourself for those relationships.
So good, babe. So good. Okay. So Kadisha was like, she's having a really hard time after betrayal. Sorry, she's saying she's having a really hard time dating after betrayal. So how do I relax more in my feminine after betrayal? I love this question. So if you're a woman that has been cheated on, there's been some degree of betrayal, whatever it is, might not even be cheating, but you've been betrayed to some degree, you have that masculine energy wound. So she's asking, how do you actually relax into your feminine if you've been wounded by the masculine? And what I'm going to say is most women have been wounded by the masculine to some degree without realizing it. Whether it's cheating, whether it's daddy issues, whether it's, it could have been so many different things, a relationship or a marriage not turning out the way that you thought it would turn out, okay? And so it is so important, babe, that you do healing around this first. That is your starting point before you go on any dating app or you date any men. Because what will happen, babe, subconsciously, your nervous system has been now wired to believe that masculine energy is not safe. You can never fully relax because masculine energy cheats or masculine energy doesn't show up properly. So one thing that we do with our girls in our programs, we have actual inner healing audios, because this can stem back from childhood, right? A lot of this often stems from childhood, where you've learned to abandon yourself or attract people that are just masculine men that are just not fully showing up for you in a safe way. And subconsciously, you keep playing out that pattern even as an adult. We see this all the time. So it is deeper. And it's not something I can do on a live stream, but we do have an inner training where we help you heal that inner child so she can feel safe. I used to think that this stuff was stupid, to be honest. I was like, this is retarded, like garbage. I was one of the girls on the comments like, this is so silly. I was so in my masculine, right? I wasn't even aware of this. But once I realized this, like, oh, wait a minute, I do have an abandonment, a rejection wound from childhood, from when my dad left. And then in my first marriage, when my husband passed away, so you could see that pattern and me being so scared to fully allow myself to fall in love again and trust the masculine. So it was like, once I did that inner healing and trusted God and surrendered everything to God, like, God, you are my provider, protector. This is why Jesus calls us his bride. Right? That's that true feminine energy, is we are the bride and he is our true provider, protector. And once you heal that wound, and by the way, a lot of times this can come from religion as well, that wound, that masculine energy wound. But once you actually can heal that, let it go, what will happen is you will naturally start to feel safe subconsciously around masculine energy men. You'll start to attract better quality men, and you won't feel so anxious. You won't have that anxious attachment of needing to control things, or wondering what they're doing, or what are they watching on the phone, or who are they talking to, because you're detached, you're let go. You know your worthiness. You feel safe in your nervous system as a woman. You've totally surrendered it to God. So you're going to attract better. And even in the relationship, you're going to feel so much better. Yeah.
And a characteristic trait of an unhealthy masculine energy is really pushing stuff away, getting to it later. Okay, I'll get to it later, or I won't deal with it, because men are so, and I'm speaking of, masculine energy is so good with compartmentalizing, putting stuff here and there and there. So as a lady, if you find yourself pushing stuff to the side, not dealing with it, trying to push it out of your mind, like, that happened to me.
That's good, babe.
But I'm not going to deal with it. I'll just move past it. That's unhealthy masculine energy. And you have to really look at it and see, where do I need healing in? Because the masculine will compartmentalize stuff in a good way, but unhealthy, we can do it in a way where something happened at home or something happened at the job. Somebody said something and we don't deal with it. So healthy masculine energy, for you ladies that are looking for it, healthy masculine energy communicates well, deals with stuff right away, doesn't hold stuff in, And if you're in your masculine energy, you can know if you're in the masculine energy because it's things that have happened potentially to you or around you and you never addressed it.
That was really good, babe. I never heard that before. That's really good. So basically what he's saying is men have the ability to shut off emotion and keep, right? They're hunters, right? So they have that ability to shut off emotion and just produce.
Yes.
That's how their nervous system has been wired. Women naturally are, everything is all connected, right? Like their brains are waffles, our brains are spaghetti. If you guys have, there's a book on that. But everything is interconnected for women. Now, as a woman, because you've been wounded, what will happen is you'll be pushed into your survival mode, that masculine energy mode, and you will compartmentalize, I can't even say that word properly, everything. So you shut off your emotion. You avoid things. And this was me for so long. Oh my gosh, before he came to the picture. Because you don't even have the capacity to deal with your emotions or the pains that you've been through, right? If you've been through like some serious trauma. So you just shut it out and then you just, I just want to date. And it doesn't work like that, babe, because it will eventually come out. It will eventually come to the surface where you're triggered and you don't know why you're always triggered, or you're attracting guys that are flaky, that aren't showing up for you because you haven't fully shown up for you. Because at the end of the day, everyone is always mirroring your energy. Everyone is always mirroring your energy. So the more you heal as the feminine, in your feminine energy, you feel safe in your energy, in your nervous system, you naturally will start to attract men that mirror that back to you. And they will be more in their healthy masculine.
And just like you said, as we look at ourselves, we actually attract who we are, what we do. So we don't even have to look outside like, why is he coming over here? He's coming over towards you because of who you are, not because of who he is. He's going to be himself no matter what. And it's like if we see an animal, we see a dog, we go pet the dog because of who the dog is, not because of who we are. Like who that dog is doesn't change. Who we are can change, but if it's not changed, we're going to attract people that want to pet us. People that want to take advantage of us because we haven't changed. But when you do the healing, they won't come close to you. When we see a pit bull, you don't go close to a pit because you know that pit's not playing. You know that pit's about business. And when we see healthy feminine women, like with you, I knew she was about business. I knew she was nothing to play with. Like, let me not just try to, drag it out. I'll be somewhere else and she'll be moved on and married because I was playing with her. So we don't play with healthy feminine women. Healthy masculine energy men don't. And you'll attract that healthy masculine energy man when you're the person you need to be.
Oh, that's so good. We train people how to treat us at the end of the day, right? So they know subconsciously. And this is well researched, where even people that have been victimized, they can tell, like the predators can tell who to victimize just based on how you walk, how you talk, how you move your energy. That is it. So this is well researched. Yeah. So really good questions, you guys. Oh, Abiola, what's up, babe? Okay. Tanisha Davis, if I'm 53, should I date older or younger?
43.
What age? If I'm 43, should I date older or younger? What age range? Really good question.
Do you want me to answer that?
Go for it, baby.
Well, again, we always say the easiest way to get what you desire is to date older. That's not the only way. It's not the rule, but it's something that works better in most cases. So with you, it's about really your energy, like we always say. It's about you being in your feminine, your receiving place. Right? You're in that energy. You're going to attract the right guy. So I would say don't just look at age. Just worry about kind of focusing on what you need to be, who you need to be, and those guys are going to be attracted to you. Those healthy masculine energy provider guys, most likely in their late 40s to mid 50s, are going to be attracted to a 43-year-old woman. A lot of times men, even your age, men aren't attracted to women their age. So you just knowing that if you're attracting guys younger, just have your antennas up. But if you're attracting guys maybe 47 to 55, that would be something that I would consider healthy.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, if you're on the dating apps and you're out dating, I do recommend you do have that range of men 4 to 7 years older than you. So really mid to late 40s to early 50s. And I know a lot of women, and I was like this too, especially losing a first husband to cancer. You're like scared to date older, right? Like that was something I was really conscious of, and I had to do a lot of inner healing around that. And one thing that I did that worked so well that I teach my girls to do in the programs is you really get specific on the type of man you're calling in energetically. So I get my girls to script on this. And so I was calling in, because this is how we do things differently, is we actually teach you exactly who to call in as your husband. And I got everything I wanted plus more, that I scripted. But anyway, so when you are scripting or you are calling in a certain husband, call in a guy that is 4 to 7 years older than you, maybe 10 years older than you, but is in amazing shape, looks so good for his age from a healthy perspective. I wasn't coming at it like, oh, I need to have the hottest husband. Like I could care less about that. And that goes against what I teach my girls. But I wanted a man that was healthy. I wanted a man that took care of himself, right? So for me, and I'm not saying you need to do this, but for me, some of my non-negotiables was he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he has no addictions. And that's exactly what I got. Like my husband doesn't drink, he's never drank, doesn't smoke, never smoked. Well, I maybe in high school, but
yeah, I smoked weed
in high school.
Never smoked cigarettes, but I was 19 years old.
Yeah, he's a non-drinker, non-smoker. And like does not want to do that. So I got exactly what I wanted, a man that was older than me, but takes really good care of himself. So you definitely can do that as well.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
response. Alicia Love says, what about a 24-year-old with 2 children? What age range would you suggest?
So you're 24?
With 2 children.
24. Date older girl for sure. So definitely, I would say 30s. If I was in your situation, especially with 4 kids, or with 2 kids, but you're 24, there's going to be men in their 30s for sure that are more stable, that are in their provider energy, and you come along and you're like this hot 20-year-old babe. Okay. But here's the thing I encourage you to do, babe, and all the women, do your inner healing first, because we literally could put the perfect man in front of you. And if you haven't done some inner healing around this, it's not going to last. It's not going to last. And this is why so many single moms get such a bad rap, where there's literally podcasts and YouTube shows dedicated to encourage men not to date single moms, because a lot of single moms have baggage. I had baggage, right? You've been hurt. So it's up to us to change this narrative where we take accountability, we take responsibility, we do our inner healing, we understand how the masculine thinks, what the male wants, the masculine brain wants, what they desire, not what we think that they want, how they've been wired, what do they actually desire, and what do we actually desire? From a healthy feminine place, not from a wounded place. And when you show up in the dating scene that way, and you have strategy where you're starting to date older men, babe, that is a recipe for success for you and your kids who are watching you based on how you're dating.
And being 24 and having 2 kids, and we don't know all the details around it, but one thing that you can do definitely is make sure you're looking good. Yes. Make sure if you're looking good, you're doing things in life. Yeah. You don't have to have the best job, but you're active in life. You have hobbies, you have things that are going on. You do that, take care of yourself, and then really do the inner work, and not just out here sleeping with everyone. At this point, it's where you have to really be more specific in who you're dating, because having 2 kids is one thing, but if you're still out there dating a lot of guys, you're just on the scene, you're partying, you won't attract the right type of guy. But what you will attract the right guy, and like you said, I believe in their early to mid 30s, because they're at a place where financially they're probably in a better position than a 20-something-year-old. Yeah. Mentally, they're at that position as well where they're ready to settle down. Yeah. And potentially they may have a child, and they may be open to, both of us have children, let's bring it together. But being 24, you're like the best thing ever for a guy in his early 30s. Yeah. So take care of yourself. Yeah. Make sure you do your inner healing. And trust me, you don't have to go out looking for those guys. Yeah. Those guys will find you as long as you do what you need to do, because you're at a prime point in your life, a prime age where you're still potentially able to have children with no issues. And also they're able to grow with you.
Yep.
And they're looking like, okay, she may have done a few things earlier, had a couple of children, but she's still young and she's still in a position where we can build a family together.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
It's definitely won't be an issue for men with you as long as you're doing those things to take care of yourself mentally and physically.
Yeah, so good. And especially when you are a single mom, you really have to be intentional about this, right? And I was so conscious about this because I had 4 kids. 4 kids, okay? And I wasn't 20. I was in my late 30s. So I was really conscious of this. And so I really focused. I took time to really do my inner healing and have a glow up. This is why we have glow up challenges in the Feminine Energy Academy. So if you want help with this, where you have daily accountability, we have weight loss programs. We work on your hormones. We do your inner healing, doing all that abandonment wounds. We heal your masculine energy wounds, the love blocks. We heal all of those things and teach you the dating strategy, because you can't have one without the other. You can be perfect, healed, go to church, no drama, no baggage, but you have 0 dating strategy. And I mean, it might work, but we want to increase your chances. We want to, shorten that time frame for you. Or you can be on the dating scene and have all the strategy, but you haven't actually healed your love blocks. You haven't actually healed those masculine energy wounds from before, the daddy abandonment issues. And then you're still going to keep playing in the same patterns, right? So you definitely want both. And especially as you get older, and especially if you are a single mom, for sure. More questions?
Yeah,
Love
this
your
is
questions.
I believe it's Dolce Sweet. How about a man that is 31 when you are a 33-year-old woman? He's a pediatric dentist.
Oh.
So I'm unsure if he views me seriously, as I caught him staring extremely hard at my bum. Men do that. Especially single men that are looking for
He was just giving you
anything.
a head-to-toe assessment.
He was, yeah. Should you pass? Well, I'll jump in first. Well, him being 31 and really looking at what he's doing in his career, that shows he's responsible, he's disciplined. So potentially, he's someone that if you connected with him, and we never know, but you connect with him, get to know him, he potentially can be someone who can be a provider and be your match. Yeah. But my question to you is, has he approached you, or you're just saying that he looked at you and he looked at your bum? Should you pass? Never just pass on a guy if they look at your bum. Men are going to always check you out. Sometimes you catch them checking you out, especially men that are single. Yeah, they're going to check you out. So sometimes you catch him. That doesn't mean he's a bad person since you caught him looking at you. But also, has he approached you? Does he want to get to know you? Or is he just looking at you? Because we talked about it in a previous video. If he's too shy, if he doesn't come up to you, then that's not the masculine energy man that you want, because he may not be confident enough in himself to lead you when things happen in a relationship. He's not going to step up because he's shy. He's not going to be there as your protector because he maybe wants to avoid confrontation. So it's deeper questions. But the first thing I'm asking is, did he approach you, and are you getting to know him? Yeah, exactly. That's for all the ladies. You don't approach men. You can make eye contact with them. That's like you dropping your hanky, is you making eye contact and smiling. That is all you need to do as a woman. I know there's so many people on social media that tell you to go and approach the guy. Times have changed, all this stuff. But what they don't teach is the energetic dynamics. That might work at the beginning, but we're thinking long term. We want you to be in a marriage where the man is really in that masculine head of the home, provider, protector role, and he can lead you, right? And so you can relax as a woman. You can feel safe and not feel like you have to do everything for the man, right? Because you think, oh, it's just, I'm just coming up to him and I'm gonna, give him my number or whatever. But you don't realize as a woman that you have lost leverage, like what you talk about all the time as a woman, because now you're in chase mode, he's in receiving mode. And now you're gonna have to maintain that energy through the dating and marriage if you even make it to that point. So that's so true. That leverage thing is true. Yeah. And then a lot of times what happens is you want to change the dynamics back. Right. Once you start getting to like him, getting to know him, you want him to be in his masculine, you want him to be the leader, but that's not how the relationship started. That's not who he showed himself to be. Right. And that's not going to change in most situations. Most situations, if you come to him, you'll have to be the one to ask him to marry you. you'll have to be the one to do everything because
Yes.
you approached him and he's in his receiving mode.
You know what? This is really important, ladies. And you can talk about this more. Men that want to be married are in hunting mode for marriage. Right? Like men that are serious about marriage, like they're ready to be married. They're at the point of their life where they're done screwing around. They're ready to be married. They're in hunting mode. So if they see an opportunity there, they're not going to let it pass. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Men are opportunists.
Yeah.
So men, and I always give the example of business.
Right.
Men look at most stuff as business. Is this going to be good for me, bad for me, in what way?
Yeah.
So when someone attractive comes, your energy first lets them know what type of situation this is going to be.
Right.
Your energy is going to let them know, is this someone that I need to take serious?
Oh.
Or is this someone that I can play around with?
So a booty call or a wife?
Yes. Men see that right away. And that could be in your conversation. You know, if they might do something like, okay, they're touching you, they may grab your hand, they may grab your waist, and based on how you respond, something clicks in their mind and it says, okay, let me adjust because this is who I'm dealing with. And because of that, they'll go that way. But men are looking for opportunity. It can be great opportunities, like this could be an opportunity to marry the person that I love and want to be with, or this is an opportunity to sleep with someone who's nice looking. Or this could be an opportunity to just have someone who they go over there, they watch TV, you cook them a meal. Men are assessing you just by your energy first and then by your conversation. So then that's why men do what they do. They'll reach out to you at different times of day just to see if you answer. They'll let you know, like, I'm in your neighborhood. Can I come by? They didn't give you any heads up. Based on your response, they put you in a category. And people do this with, everyone does this. Everyone gets put into a category, but men are out there on the hunt, looking at opportunities, looking to see how can this opportunity benefit me. And healthy men are looking at how can this opportunity help us.
Yes.
So just know that it's nothing personal with men. It's not that men don't like you or men try to take advantage of you because you're the worst person. No, it's the energy that you're giving off that allows that man to know this is how I approach this person and this is how I approach this person, no matter how they look. You can be beautiful and she's average looking. He may approach her differently because of how she's presenting herself. And now you become the opportunity and she becomes a wife.
Oh, that was so good, babe. That was so good. Ladies, so this is your competitive advantage. And I understand competitiveness is a masculine trait, but when we're talking about feminine, but this is what will make you stand out. That's a better way of saying it. This is what's going to make you stand out in the dating scene. Don't sleep with the guy. Don't sleep with the guy. When you don't sleep with him, Coach B just broke it down so perfectly about how the masculine brain is wired and how they think and how they put you in a different box. They put you in a different category based on your energy, based on the masculine. And I always tell you girls this, the masculine responds to the feminine. Okay. So you as a woman, you come along and you are looking like a delicious snack. Okay, you look so good. Doesn't matter if you're 55, you're 45, you're 25. That part does not matter. You look so good for your age. You've done your inner healing. You're warm and soft. You understand how the masculine brain is wired. You know, he's asking you out, he's approaching you. You guys have fun together. You're lighthearted, all this stuff. You're detached, right? Because you're rotationally dating. You're not hooked on one guy right away. And all of a sudden, and you're not sleeping with him. Now he has just put you in the wife category.
That's true.
Exactly what he was talking about. He just put you in the category of, I can't play around with this girl. You know, maybe he tests you without realizing it, because even good guys test you without realizing it.
That's still gonna happen.
Right? And doesn't call you for a few days, right? And this guy did that,
yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Right? And then they see how you respond. And you respond in the way that I teach my girls. then they don't do that ever again.
Yes.
They show up in your doorstep in a different country. Like what he did. Where I was like, I'm done. I'm good. I'm moving on. And I'm going to start dating.
It's true.
And then he showed up in a different country on my doorstep and like, no, I want to marry you.
Right.
Right. That's
true.
Because then they know that they can't play around with you. And you do it with a smile on your face. You don't do it by sending them long text messages. You don't do it by cussing them out and yelling at them. That's not how you get what you want as a woman. That's not feminine intelligence at all, babe.
No. That's
good.
Yes.
This is real good. We got good questions. Okay, baby.
We got AB said 3 kids with 2 different guys, 2 abusive relationships.
Yeah.
I still want a loving relationship with a good dad for my kids. I'm working on my healing, but I feel like healthy men don't want this situation. I have 2 things, and I'll let you go into it. I have at least one.
I'm giving you a hug, babe.
Yes.
I love you. All right.
The first thing, because of time restraints and, the healing that's needed, you have to jump into the Feminine Energy Academy to start the healing process. It's not because we're the healers or anything like that. It's because you have a group of women in there that are on their own journeys, that are encouraging each other, that have been through similar things and probably in certain situations worse things. But it's having that opportunities to share, because a lot of healing comes from releasing and from talking and from being able to share and not holding it in. So being in a community where you're able to share, where you're able to reach out to us and get practical information, able to get energetic information, the things that you need to do, that sets you up. Then you're ready for our dating and marriage community that we just started, where we're going to start actually connecting our ladies who've done healing with guys that are healed, guys that we vetted, guys that are ready for a relationship. But it's important to go through the healing process with others, because a lot of times we try to deal with things ourselves, like, okay, it was hurtful, but I'm just going to do this different next time. I'm going to do this different. And we find ourselves years later still not healed. So being in the right settings, the right environment is so key for opportunities. I'm talking like a man. Yeah. It's so key to growing and healing, because what you've done up to this point, unfortunately, hasn't worked the way that you desire for it to work. And us talking to you for 5 minutes won't change you. It's an ongoing process that you have to do. And through communities like the Feminine Energy Academy, I think that's a first step with you. But you can go deeper into it.
Okay, so that was really good, honey. What was her name? AB, first of all, I'm just giving you the biggest hug right now, because I understand as a single mom the shame that comes with this, where you just feel like you're broken goods, right? Like nobody wants you, like who's gonna wanna date me now? Who's gonna wanna marry me now? Because I have 2 different fathers, I have kids, I'm a single mom, whatever. I get that, babe. I didn't have different fathers, but I understand that feeling of, oh my gosh, I have 4 kids and I'm a single mom, and who's gonna wanna date and marry me, right? And so that's why that inner healing is so important. And just to echo what Coach B is saying, it's not that we're just like, oh, the Feminine Energy Academy, whatever. There's programs in there specific for you. Like it's a community of women that were former single moms that are now married. 2 engagements in just this year, in the last couple of months, have been single moms because of the stuff that we teach. And so I want to just encourage you, first of all, that there's men that do want to date you. There's men that do want to marry you. We see it all of the time, but it's even more important now that you don't waste your time. Like you have to be so intentional right now, babe. And this is your blessing in disguise. One thing I teach my girls to do in the program is turning your biggest insecurities into your biggest assets. So just as an example, I had 4 kids and I'm in my late 30s, and now I'm thinking, okay, who's going to want to take this on, right? A family of 5, right? But then I told myself, I was like, you know what? There's going to be a man out there that has, gone through stuff and is ready to get married, and he's thinking, I just want a family. Like I'm ready to have a family. And then here we go. My husband comes along at 45 years old, no kids, never been married, ready for a family. And actually, this is how good of a match we were. He had spent most of his time coaching teenagers kids, teenager kids. Like, even though he worked with a bunch of ages, teenager kids, like the 14 and up, that's the age group that my kids are now in. So it was almost like God was preparing him to enter the scene at this stage of our life. It was so perfect. And I'm speaking that over you right now, babe, and any other single mom right now that is listening and thinking, it's too late, no one's gonna want me. No, there is a perfect husband for you, that wants your kids, but it's your job, babe, to become the energetic match for that. I'm not going to say it's just going to happen, because it's not. What you've been doing up to this point has not worked. So from a place of self-love and shifting your identity, you want to shift your reality, you got to shift your identity. The old identity has to be completely killed off. Okay, completely killed off. And you got to step into that new reality with that brand new identity, with people that are around you to support you, love you, and teach you how to do things differently. And I love you. I get fired up by this stuff.
That was so good. I don't see any other questions. Do we have any other questions? Thank you so much. This is helpful. I want to join the community. Definitely.
I have a question for you.
Okay, the link is right there. He just put it up there for us, me and Adora support.
Okay, what's the male's perspective for a woman that does have maybe a couple of kids from different dads?
So the first, because I asked you that question as well when we first started dating, like, how many dads, how many fathers are there?
Yeah.
The first perspective, the first way men think is we're asking those questions because we're trying to figure out, does this man have access? It's more than you having all these baby dads, not you in this situation, but having 3 or 4 or 5 baby dads. It's how much access does he have? Because if he still has access to you, if you're still best friends, if he's still coming over when he wants to come over,
right?
If multiple guys are able to do that, we don't feel there's space for us.
Okay.
So we're asking the question, how many baby fathers? And then we're asking about what's your relationship with them? Then we want to know more about how did it get in this situation? Okay, you didn't marry them. What happened with it? And it's not that you're wrong or anything. Men are just trying to figure out, does this make sense? Is this someone I can be with?
Yeah.
Is this someone I can trust? Is this someone that potentially wants to get married?
Right.
Or is this someone who may just wants to get pregnant or whatever the case is? Because when men are inquiring, men want to know because they're thinking long term.
Right.
They're not thinking right now or what happened. Why you have a kid without being married? Why'd you have 2 kids without marrying one of them? We're thinking, is this person someone I can invest my time with? And I keep saying invest, but is this person someone I can invest my time and can I trust them?
Right.
And if we feel good as men, like I did, then we'll move forward, even if you've had 2, 3, 4 baby fathers, because we feel like we can trust you and we can trust that you're for us, and other men don't have access. Remember, we always talk about you want to be nice, but you don't want to be easy.
Right.
And if we feel like you're easy, then we'll take a step back. And a lot of times a barometer for understanding if you're easy, an easy barometer without diving into it, men will look and say, okay, she has 2 or 3 kids by different fathers, she's easy. But men that really are healthy and want to get to know you, they'll dive in, ask questions, and make decisions based on who you are right now. Right? But don't bring up the past or anything, because we're not going to ask about details about the past. We just want to know that you've done healing, and right now the person I'm meeting is somebody I can trust, somebody who's ready for me to come into their life, and someone that I can grow with.
Oh, that's so good, babe. Because remember, for the man, it's respect. And here's the big thing, ladies. The deepest thing that men crave is to feel like a hero. So this is why the dynamics can still work if, ladies, you play your cards right. In the sense, not in a manipulative way, but you really genuinely have done your healing. And part of your healing is understanding boundaries. This is how you know you've actually healed. You're not triggered easily, and you can follow through on boundaries. If you're the type of girl that can follow through on boundaries, he is going to respect that. He's going to start to trust you. Because exactly what he's saying, he's like, he wants to know that you're not easy, that a man can't just jump into the situation and be in your ear or like be, have his presence there unwelcomed, because the man you're with is going to feel disrespected. That's where that's coming from. This is how men are wired. That's a good thing. It's fine. So for you as a woman, what you have to show, you got to give off signals of healthy feminine wife. And part of that is, I know how to follow through on boundaries. Okay, maybe I didn't before, and that's how I ended up in this situation, but you've done your healing. You're not judging yourself. You're still worthy of princess treatment. You're still worthy of a husband, right? You're not a widow. You're not an orphan, as God talks about. You're still a child of God. You're still royalty, but you have to show that. You can't tell them that. You have to show them that. And you show them that by how you're dressing, by not sleeping with them, by not being triggered, by how you communicate with them, right? By understanding how to make a man feel like a man in your presence without being sexual. And subconsciously, he's gonna be like, I want to come in and just rescue this girl. I want to come in and just take care of her and be her man, right? So, yeah, there's still lots of opportunity for you ladies.
Yes, so much opportunity. It's just about you becoming, like you always say, the reciprocal match for that person, because every guy has questions. Every guy wants to feel secure that they're going to be respected and being looked at as the man of the house, no matter how many kids you have, no matter who's around, they're the man. And you have to make that clear to them, not in words, but in your actions.
Yes. And also, I just want to touch on this point too, because I recently saw, of course, another podcast talking about this, why you should never date single moms. Because, and you know what, I do understand the perspective in the sense of, they're like, a man comes into the picture and he invests all this time into your kids, right? Into you, into the kids. And then you guys haven't done your proper inner healing. You don't understand masculine, feminine energy, all that stuff. And your relationship falls apart. Now he has invested all this time with the kids, especially. And then so now, and he doesn't have any rights to the kids. He doesn't have rights to you. So men are thinking about stuff like this, right? And so what we're encouraging our women to do, this is why we do what we do in our programs and we come on live stream, is we, like, ladies, you're the ones that hold the power with this. You're the one that will change this narrative, because the feminine, the greatest need for the feminine is connection in relationships. The greatest need for the masculine is provision, providing, protecting, right? So it is our role, ladies. It is our role to get really good at understanding relationship dynamics. It is our role to really deeply understand inner healing of our own crap instead of just coming at the guy, okay? And I promise you, babe, if you really take accountability and so much love, and especially when you invite God into this, and I'm speaking to somebody right now, you invite God into this to heal your heart, and then you get actual strategy to understand not only dating, but how to have a healthy marriage. The guy's guards are gonna go down, and you're gonna have multiple men that wanna date and marry you. Okay.
That's true. And we look at it in a sense of men will work 5 jobs. They'll do everything except kill themselves to show you that they're the right match for you, to show you that they're your provider. They're going to protect you in the relationship. They'll travel cross country. They'll drive trucks, whatever it takes to show you that they're the match for you. And as ladies, feminine, in their feminine, it's important that you do what you need to do to show them that they'll be respected, that they're the man of the house, that you're doing all you can to make them feel comfortable in the relationship. So it's not a one-way thing where he needs to show you or she needs to show him. Both parties have a responsibility, and we have to take on that responsibility. You showing him that you're a good investment, because that's how men look at things.
Right.
And him showing you that he's going to be your protector and provider to the last day of his life.
Yeah.
Once both parties do that, then it's an easier relationship. But when one party's not doing it and the other party's doing it, those relationships don't go anywhere. Those relationships end up being where people are like, well, they're not doing anything, where it's a lot of complaining, where it's a lot of finger pointing. But doing your work, and you attract that person, you don't have to ask them to do their work. You don't have to ask them to show that they're the right person for you, because they're doing their inner work. So really focusing on your responsibility, on yours, not his, or him focusing on his and not yours. then you have great relationships, you have marriages, you have, families that are expanding, businesses that are growing. All these things happen when we do our role.
Yes. It's becoming so normal to have blended relationships and blended families, but you definitely need to have the tools to be successful. And even talking about how men are wired, I mean, that's the number one reason why men kill themselves, right? Is when they feel like they're not needed anymore. When they feel like they can't provide, and often men won't say anything. Right? They won't say anything, and they don't feel like they can provide and protect the way that they feel like they should as a man. And that's the number one reason why they end up killing themselves. Right? So it shows you how wired men are to provide and to protect you. So you, even if you're not seeing that in your man right now, he is wired. Like that's how God has made him. The sperm competes and chases the target. That is how he is wired at a DNA level. Okay? So, but for us as women, our role is to position ourselves like the egg, be healthy and whole like the egg, to be ready to be to conceive. Yeah.
Yes. I don't see any questions. Was it any questions that we missed?
All right. Do you want to add anything else, honey?
I mean, the questions that we get are great. We actually do this on our masterclass monthly, where we have relationship. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. We're actually, what's the title tomorrow?
So tomorrow, thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
Tomorrow, I should have said this earlier. Tomorrow we're doing a exclusive private masterclass on the male gaze. So I recently we both did a video on YouTube on, no, I think it was just me that did. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Anyway, we do so much videos. Anyways, it was on the male gaze, understanding the male psychology and attraction. And I talked about 5 things that you can do based on the male psychology so that they're more attracted to you. Tomorrow, we're going deep. We're doing this together. And we're going to go through 12 things that you can do as a woman to really boost your attraction quotient based on the male gaze. Because a lot of us women, we think men think like us. Right? And that's not the case at all. And it doesn't matter if you're black, white, Latina, whatever, that part doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 25 or 55 or 65. Men are wired to be attracted to you. So, but you have to understand little things that you can do to feel good, to look good, that really triggers that masculine energy to be really attracted to you. In dating and in marriage. Not just dating, but dating and in marriage. So that's tomorrow.
So we'll do that tomorrow. And then monthly, we do our Ask a Man, where I just actually did a video because I wasn't able to do it Saturday. So I went through all the ladies' questions in the community, just any questions that you have about men, your relationship, did a video on it and sent it back out to the ladies. But we do that monthly as well. So we do a lot of stuff relationship based. We go into the inner work as well. But just want to help you ladies understand how to be more successful and how to approach these relationships so you can have a better level of success and not just doing things blindly.
All right. So Alicia Love had a question. She's like, I'm 25. A 25-year-old guy I was dating asked for $300. He asked me, am I going to pay him back? But he's the one that offered to ask if I need anything.
Oh, so he gave her $300 but wanted his money back.
Yeah.
So that's a friend. That's just that's somebody who's not not looking to be in a relationship with you, because and this is how I talk to guys, most masculine energy men, I don't care if it's family or whatever, once we give something out, we're not expecting it back. We don't do it to get it back. So if he's waiting on it back, I don't care what the status of your relationship is, he's in that area. He's not functioning in his masculine in that area, because we understand, okay, I'm going to do this for you. And if you never give it back, I don't want to change who I am, how I feel about you. So in my mind, I've already decided that this is yours. I'm giving it to you. So we won't ask for it back. If you give it back, we may take it depending on who we gave it to, but we're not going around asking you, just checking a box. I need to know if you're giving this back before I give it to you. That sounds like somebody who's a coworker, somebody who you don't know, but not somebody who's trying to get to know you. And I'm not telling men to go out just hand out money. I don't know the nature of the relationship, but I'm just saying in general, that wouldn't be someone who's courting you for marriage.
So good, babe. Okay, Isabella says, I turned 32 this month. I have 2 daughters, 4 and 6, and I'm in the Feminine Energy Academy, and I highly recommend it to each woman here. Even try it for free. Join it. It's remarkable. Yes, Isabella is amazing. She lives in Hawaii, actually, so shout out. And happy birthday, Isabella.
Yes, happy birthday.
So good. I've been working on myself. She had 2 abusive relationships before. Okay, we've seen that a lot with girls, and that's what I love. That's what I love about our community is we have women in so many different types of relationships. And there's so much shame, or they've gone through a lot of stuff. They've gone through divorce, they've gone through abuse, they're dealing with stuff, and there's so much shame. And ladies, listen, the number one thing that will dysregulate your nervous system is shame. So that is one of the biggest things that we help heal in our programs. It's like your starting point, because if you are carrying around shame, it's going to block love. And it's going to block money flow. It actually blocks money flow as well. It's something I had to heal in myself. And it can affect your hormones. When a woman's nervous system is dysregulated and she's stressed out and she's carrying around shame and her cortisol is spiked, that's why a lot of women will have stubborn belly fat, have hormone issues, PCOS, cortisol issues. And that is another thing that we really incorporate into our inner healing programs. And this is why even our women with PCOS are losing weight now. For that reason specifically.
I don't see any other questions on here. Definitely so many good questions today. So many good people just asking stuff. And these are real life situations. These aren't just people wanting to know. Like, these are situations people have potentially dealt with for years in their life. And just getting those answers is the start to the healing process. But did you want to add something to it?
No, I was just checking this out. Okay, this is great, you guys. All right, so we'll see you girls in our program tomorrow. We're doing the Understanding the Male Gaze Masterclass tomorrow. We also have weight loss challenges, hormone challenges, inner healing challenges in our community for you to just even try out. Okay, we love you girls so much, and we will see you later.
Yes.